doors in
awesome.
your building.
Well, hello, everybody. And thanks so much for coming out. You know, I know there's a lot going on in the area today, so I really appreciate you coming out here today. I didn't know about the Women's March when I scheduled it or anything, so, but I'm pleased to have a good turnout and some great help with me today. We're going to start off with a set by a gentleman who produced my record and arranged it and played every damn instrument on it. So, but I first met Eric Garrison as when he was performing a folk gig several years ago. And that's how I came to know him and appreciate him as a singer-songwriter. I later learned that he was a master producer, multi-instrumentalist, and a good concert organizer. Eric really started our concert series here in the library. So it's especially meaningful to me to have worked with him on this project, because he's been a good friend for the past 12 or 13 years and kind of a mentor musically. So, and he's an excellent singer-songwriter and performer. So if you'd kindly welcome Eric Garrison.
Thank you very much, Greg. Can I get that? I need to get your introduction on like a low-size mural in the dining room behind my family. It's a pleasure to have you all here this afternoon. And, it's nice to be playing in this room always. As Greg mentioned, we did start the concert series way back in 2004. That was, yeah. And, I remember it well. So it's nice to be back here. I'm going to play, the first song I'm going to play is, I'm going to play a couple songs that reflect on our town. I pretty much grew up here. My family moved here in 1959 after having lived in, my first 6 years I lived in 6 different places, and then we came and settled here and stayed. And it was a good place to stay. Of course, the danger of playing your hometown is that if you tell stories, you know, I used to do road work in the 90s, and being on the road was great because you could tell stories about home, and it was effortless because you didn't have to replace names or modify anybody's conduct or worry about offending anybody or libeling anybody. Not that I ever did. But, yeah, it was nice not to have to even think about that. But when you play at home, sometimes you know, as you sing a tune and then you wonder, I wonder if, number one, if everybody thinks this is true, which, let me plead with it. Yeah, you know. The truth of the song, I believe every song should have a basis in truth. But then I think the writer has the freedom to add details to make things interesting or to make things rhyme, which is sometimes an issue. So with apologies, perhaps, to my old friend Joe, this tune is about our town barber when I was growing up, whose name was Joe. I don't know his last name. It was across from Cranberries, that little building. I'm not sure what's there now. I think it might be a residential building now. And after the Beatles came to town, getting a haircut was suddenly not, it was something to be avoided rather than approached. And I remember making the long slog, we lived at the other end of town, and making the long slog up on haircut days, knowing that I was going to get chopped when I got up here. But then Joe, being a kind of ingenious guy, with a head for marketing and branding, apparently, came up with something called the English cut, which cost $0.25 more. Haircut then was $1.25, and so it was $1.50 for the English cut. It felt a little better to me because it felt like we were at least, you know, like I had some hope of walking out with something approaching what the Beatles seemed to have. My dad had a different perspective on it, as he said it cost him $0.25 more to cut less hair. He didn't really didn't get the equation. But yeah, he was a great guy, and the whole barbershop experience was a lot of fun. He used to used to come up, sometimes Joe wouldn't be there. The shop would be open and this, you know, had one of those red, white, and blue signs outside that went on, and if that was on, you knew that he was around, and so he'd go in and wait, and a lot of times he'd be over at the Andros Diner across the street, having lunch or a cup of coffee or something. So it's a too cold old Barber Joe. Old Barber Joe was a pretty funny guy, had a big bald head, twinkle in his eye. Used to tell jokes just a little off color. You could tell all your friends, but you never tell your mother. Well, he sat on the porch in front of his shop. He read the daily news and gave his razor strap. Hang a sign on the door, say across the street, go over to the diner for something to eat. Price of a haircut was always a bump, though he'd do it for less if he didn't have enough. Now that I'm grown, well, I miss those days. 2 bits for a cut, 2 bits for a shave. Triple out of the sides, a little off the top. He made that razor sing with his left strap. He gave us some sideburns when I turned 10. They were just like my dad's. I wish I had them again. '64 when the Beatles came to town, old Barber Joe saw his business go down. Our folks had fists back the length of our hair, but old Barber Joe just had an empty chair. Well, in '69, Joe passed away. The hair was to the shoulders and the dad's was great. We followed that hearse past old Joe's shop, but it was long gone for the parking lot. Old Barber Joe was a really funny guy, had a big bald head, twinkle in his eye. Used to tell jokes, just a little off color. You could tell all your friends, but you never tell your mother. Thanks a lot, I appreciate it. Before I put this instrument away, I have to, some folks wonder what it is sometimes. This is called an octave mandolin. You know anything about the mandolin? It's just a big overgrown mandolin that sounds an octave above the instrument. I want to mention it though for a minute because I had an episode many years back. I was playing up in Holland Patton, New York, in a coffee house up there, and some very nice folks were helping me pack up after the show, and I had this in the case leaning against the wall, and somebody brushed it with a chair they were carrying or something like that, and it just fell over. It was in the case. It just fell over on the floor. Didn't think twice about it. It had a good sturdy case. And I got to my gig the next night down in Mount Kisco, New York, and opened the case, and the headstock had snapped right out. And that's a kind of, I mean, that's a very, very major repair. So I pretty much gave up on it. I kept it for years and years in the case, and I bought another octave mandolin, which was not as friendly to my fingers. And I want to give credit to Paul Hartman, who's a luthier, lives here in Hyde Park, does guitar repairs. Lives not too far from where we stand. And Paul reattached the headstock, and he didn't guarantee it. He told me it would be a risky repair, but it's been a year and a half, and I've had my vision back, so I'm happy. So thanks to Paul for that. Well, one of the things I like about Hyde Park is the fact we still have a drive-in theater. I don't know how you feel about that, but I think we should do everything we can do to make sure that we always have a drive-in theater. remember going to the drive-in when I was a kid. Coming home my dad come home from work on a summer night, and my mom and dad would talk, and they decided we'd be going to the drive-in. Those were the days of double features, so you get 2 movies for one. And in the intro between, you had an adventure finding your way to the refreshment stand. Up on the screen, they had that great big pizza pie they showed you with like the clock. You know, and as the hand went around, new refreshments would show up behind it, you know, ice cream cones and more pizzas and stuff like that. That's great. There was a playground, which is no longer there, but they used to have a great playground down in front of the movie screen. So when we got there, we would, well, dress, of course, at a certain age, you went to the drive-in dressed in pajamas. I remember being that young. My sister was 4 years older than I was, so I'd be in my pajamas. My sister was not in her pajamas, being old enough, apparently, to stay awake to the movie, which I never was. So me and my friends in our pajamas would be up on the playground, and the older kids would be there as well. And you could often find us little guys in our PJs on the they had one of those merry-go-rounds that you could spin around by hand, and we'd all be sitting on the merry-go-round, waving our arms frantically, and our parents would look up and think we were having a great time. And I realized that the older kids were keeping us prisoner on the merry-go-round, paralyzed with nausea. The song that kind of goes back to those days. My old back had a squeaky wheel, 2 bent spokes, but I tell you I was mobile. Peeling out down Parker Avenue, Garden Street, heading for the mailbox where the cool boys meet. Where the air was thick on them hot August nights, staying out late, we'd be hanging by the street light. We'd hear Daddy's whistle when it got to be too late. Adolescence round the corner, we could not wait. Sha-la-la-la-la. Oh, sha-la-la-la-la. My daddy bought a Buick, it must have been 50 feet long. Tommy next door, baby, said it was a real bomb. Riding with the windows down to catch the evening breeze. Daddy's got his arm around Mama, she's giving him a squeeze. Sha-la-la-la-la. Oh, sha-la-la-la. I was just a kid and my questions, they were easy to answer. Good feelings, they were out there on the radio. And I knew I'd be alright, 'cause I'd be a dancer. Our summer sweet romance. Well, Joyce down on the corner, she was 17. And she went out with Tommy, he was always on the first team. They'd come home late at night and I'd watch from outside. I showed her wish some girl would kiss me like that. Sha-la-la-la-la. Oh, sha-la-la-la-la. Oh, sha-la-la-la-la. Oh. Well, I'm gonna try a song I haven't played in a long time. It's a song off, I put out my first record back in 1990. And it wasn't actually a record, it was a cassette. Back in the days when CDs were new, cassettes were the standard issue, and in those days, if you put out vinyl, you were kind of a dinosaur. And it's a song that has a soft spot for me. I discovered through the 90s that I'm not much of a, as I was doing some road work, and I discovered I'm not really much of a road dog. I much prefer sleeping in my own bed, which resulted in some odd nights when, well, I figured if I booked a gig, I was living in New Caney, Connecticut. My goodness, how are you? We'll talk. I lived in New Caney, Connecticut, so there were nights when, a lot of nights actually, I would take a weeknight gig in, say, DC or Maryland. And of course, this is folk music, which was a great change for me. Back in the 70s, I was playing clubs or playing rock and roll. And moving into the singer-songwriter world was lovely because you were no longer finishing work at 3 o'clock in the morning. You were done at 10:30. So I'd be in DC, I'd be done at 10:30. I'd throw myself in the car, and it's only 5 hours. I could be in bed by 4 in the morning, 4:30 in the morning, sleeping in my own bed instead of having to be out there. So the song is sort of about that. It's called Ready to Come Home. My bags are packed and my hair is combed. I got on that shirt you bought me. You was off and running. I got on those pants, the one you said made me look slim, and I'm ready to come home. This motel room been a friend to me. These walls that listen to what I hope to be. The TV had talked to me when I was alone, but now I'm ready to come home. But I used to think that home was just a word, a place to hang your hat, say a dying word. But home was a kiss, dogs and your sweet kisses, but I am home. I got some presents, bring on home with me. A handmade cup to hold your morning tea. A cameo necklace stood in the silver chrome. They say I'm ready to come home. But I used to think that home was just a word, a place to hang your hat, say a dying word. Oh, but home was a kiss, dogs and alone. Your sweet kisses, I'm home. But I packed a little early, just 'cause it felt right. I sat here in this armchair through the lonely night. Should've wrote you a letter, instead I wrote this song. Says I'm ready to come home. Yes, I'm ready to come home. lovely audience. It's been nice to play music for you. I'm very happy for Greg's accomplishment, getting out this CD. It was a pleasure last summer. We spent, I think it was about 3 months, something like that, 3 or 4 months. Would have been shorter if we had a bigger band, I guess.
That's true.
But it was a pleasure. It was a real labor of love for most of us. So it's a pleasure to be part of this event. One of the things that I was always hoping I would inherit from my dad was his hair. My dad had a full head of hair to the day he passed away at age 91. And as he got older, I started getting a little thinner on top, and I kept hearing a voice that I remembered from my 8th grade biology class that talked about recessive genes and all that, and I couldn't remember if it was you inherited that from like every other generation, or if it was, and I was really hoping it wasn't, because I was in line. So this song had its genesis in that startling moment when you first walk in the bathroom in the middle of the night, turn on the light. Those of you who know what I'm talking about. Well, I woke up last night about 3 a.m. The neighbor's dog, he was at it again, barking and howling at that old full moon. He was driving me crazy like some lunatic. I knew the Sandman would be passing me by. No sleep for the weary, my kryptonite. Walked in the bathroom, stood at the sink. There in the mirror, the sight made me blink. My chin, my mouth, my eyes, my forehead, a little higher up, just stopped me dead. It was the top of my head. Oh, the top of my head. It was shining like a beacon in that bathroom light. Where was my hair? That was the question of the night. Meet my new friend. It's the top of my head. Well, there was a raging storm off the Atlantic coast. A massive blackout, every lighthouse was toast. Radio waves were one big SOS, and them Coast Guard boys, they were in for a test. They huddled together, thought, what can we do? Just when all was lost, an idea came through. Back at home, my phone began to ring. They said, Eric, we need you to do that special thing. So I drove to the beach, stood on the sand. I saved 1,000 ships that night. At the top of my head, just the top of my head. Well, it shouted like a beacon for those ships at sea. Bright as the sun, but it was little old me. The wonderful things I can do with the top of my head. Oh, look at it sparkle, look at it shine. I get that warm feeling just to know that it's mine. Look at this luster, well, look at this sheen, my friend. Have you ever seen a beam quite so clean? Well, me and my darling, we were fast asleep, snuggled up together and counting those sheep, when a noise woke me up in the middle of the night. Little voice in my head said, get up with it seems. I reached for my slipper, being quiet as a mouse. I heard another noise from somewhere in the house. Well, I crept downstairs as quick as could be. I could hear that burglar breathing in the kitchen next to me. I reached out, turned on the overhead light, blinded that burglar. What an awesome sight! We're at the top of my head, just the top of my head. Well, it used to be a forest, now it's a skating rink, all white and shiny like the kitchen sink. I've been out in the sun, so it's a little bit pink. Go ahead and look close, I bet you'll have a blink. At the top of my head, yeah, the top of my head, shining like a beacon out in the sun. I tell you right now, it's my bestest one. Look at this pen at the top of my head. pleasure to play some guitar for Greg, and on to the next part of the
On
show.
to the next one. Well, thank you so much, Eric.